Greetings, it is I, Susie Q. I've been told I have not been doing new material on the video, so this one's for Cat. Kitty cat. Anyway, so yeah, so what's showing up in your field, lighting you up, turning you on, and illuminating Whew, this quantum field. I mean, how amazing is this quantum field in your awareness? I mean, are you noticing what you're noticing and then noticing a little bit more? I always say that because it's like, well, if you notice something, you might kind of like gloss over it, right? And then if you notice it again, you notice it and then you notice it again, then it kind of just is like, so it keeps showing up, right? But then that third noticing, notice what you're noticing, then noticing and notice it a little bit again, and then notice it a little bit more. By that third time, that trio, that beautiful triad energy is going to be start showing you exactly how your path is going to be moving, right? And it's super fun because when you start noticing these synchronicities or these experiences, uncanny, strange, or weird, or fantastic, right? Is that we start noticing, we notice a little bit more, and then boom, boom, shakalaka, boom, shakalaka, boom, So then we're like, okay, I see that there's a new portal, a new vortex that's opening up for me. And it feels kind of like I'm going to say yes to it. I'm going to say yes. We have choices with some of the synchronicities that, well, maybe I'll do that on a Tuesday, or maybe I'll do it on a freaky day. I don't know. But when you start looking at it, is if you can really notice what you're noticing a little bit more, and then kind of lean into it, and then find some pearl of wisdom or some kind of little essence that's going to be helping you as you're moving through this beautiful consciousness. I'm realizing that my all my other devices are open, so apologies for that. So today we're going to talk a little bit about some of the Akashic records or even the quantum healing hypnosis technique, because some of the things that I do, I've been an Akashic reader for a while, and it's been super fun and epic and crazy and fun and ridiculous and all that. Is that we have opportunities to share, some of the visions that come through the records or the QHHT. For my own self, I don't talk too much about my QHHT sessions unless I've got permission to do that. So I'm happy to share some of the impressions that I receive. And I'm guessing that you and the cat down the street always have these kind of visions or impressions or thoughts, or just a new vibe starts coming in, or an old vibe is flying out. And you're like, thank God that's over, right? And so I've got two examples, for this one. I don't even know what this one's called. I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to name it after I do it because I'm not sure what the energy is going to be suggesting in this conversation. But it's definitely going to be feels a lot like an Akashic record, and also some lucidity and dream state. Okay. All right. So here we go. So this is cray cray. Maybe you've had this experience yourself. So we're going to go into that lucid dream state. And with that lucidity and the dream state, sometimes you get to kind of like arrive to a whole new sense of view of possibility, and it's like going, I can't believe that I'm actually seeing this group of people. There was a group of people. It was kind of like a conference, if you're at a seminar and they got these long rectangle tables, and then there were four people there that were there. I'm like making, oops, I'm totally going squirrel, sorry. So it was like this table, like a conference table, and there were four people sitting there, and in the center it felt like it was JC or Jesus, Yeshua ben Joseph. And it was a flash. It was like a flash of Yeshua ben Joseph or Jesus, whatever name you want to call it, or JC. But as soon as in my lucidity state, I just went, that is Jesus or Yeshua, right? So that was crazy. But then there were three other people there, and as soon as I could, in my own thinking mind, my lucidity, I was like, that's Jesus. I'm pretty sure that's Jesus, but I don't know for sure, right? And as soon as I thought about Jesus or Yeshua, then all of a sudden that face got blurred. The body was still there, but the face was blurred. So that was kind of cray cray. There were three other people. There were four people that were sitting at this table. and it was super fantastic and amazing. And I didn't really know who these beings were, so I had a beautiful energy group out of Houston that helped integrate me and helped giving me insights and things. And so one of them was, so of course we know it was Yeshua or Jesus. The next one was Vishnu and Lakshmi, and also the final one was Archangel Jeremiah. Okay, Archangel Jeremiah. Now I had some friends that assisted me to integrate and figure out who was at the table, who's going to be eating at my table or looking at my table, right? And so we started looking at some of these things, and I was like going, Archangel Jeremiah. I don't know who that is. I don't know what that purpose is. So this is really interesting with the Akashic Records and the QHHT work that I do, is that what I kind of gleamed from it with the Archangel Jeremiah is that it was really about a life review. And sometimes we say, well, it's going to be, it's going to be a life within a life with no physical ascension, meaning you're going to have a review while you're still here on planet Earth. But then other people may experience a review after they've vibrated out from this planetary school. But that has been a real pivotal piece for me back in Houston when I was getting that guidance, right? So that Archangel Jeremiah was really powerful because a lot of the work that I do it's very akin to the Akashic Records, right? And even for some people with the QHHT, they may be feeling some of this review in the lifetime while they're still alive, that they can take a good look and examine these purposes and these lessons in this lifetime, and then maybe making some changes, right? And I think that lucidity is really a great place to play because there's so much insight and there's so much help. Because you could look at another kind of way of looking at things through like a movie or something, but what we're really looking at with these visions and these impressions is we're looking for guidance for the person now. Like what's happening now, right? Is we want to get guidance that will help the person now. So that was one cool, groovy, very, very groovy. Now, this was from Dream State, okay? I also had another very lucid dream that I'd love to share. And I know that probably a lot of us are lucid dreamers, or we may even be in our awakened state having a dream, kind of a lucid experience, right? So sometimes we think it's just about when we're sleeping that we go into lucidity, but we find that that lucidity could be happening all the time, right? Could be looking at like, stepping into a new dimension, stepping into a new portal or vortex of possibility, or moving through the multidimensionality, is that we're really kind of operating in so many beautiful ways, that are giving us guidance. So everything here that we're talking about with the lucidity is to help us now, help the person now. Okay. So this other dream state I had was very, very lucid. And so I've been in tunnels under the ground in different places. A few like Mexico. Well, there's two or three of them. Mexico, South Africa, and those are some of the mining places. And it's been super fantastic. So I have had experiences going deeper into the inner earth or just below the surface. But a lot of them was in South Africa. It was more mining activity. But I got to go down there. It was kind of weird. It was kind of weird, right? The one in Mexico was like super pristine. It was just amazingly beautiful when we went down there. So going back to my second piece of lucidity, first we had that table with four, Yeshua ben Joseph, Vishnu, Lakshmi, and Archangel Jeremiah, right? And so this one is about coming. It was really an interesting one because it was me. The way that I look. So it was basically we were coming out from under the ground, and there were all kinds of people from different nationalities, different cultures, different ways of being. And what was interesting is, it was kind of like a kind of like a cement ramp going back up to the surface. That's what it felt like, and it was just like a surface going into like a place like California. That the vision when we came up off that ramp, it was all of us. It was like young people, older people. And what was interesting about it was that it was like everybody was quiet. Nobody was actually speaking. It looked like they were just kind of coming up from something, and it was just kind of strange. Now, in that lucidity, I could feel my own self in that dream state. I could just, step into that place of being Susie in the dream, but I could also be in a state of lucidity as well. So there's many, many layers of how we look at consciousness and how we perceive things, right? So it was the ramp was going up, and then all these different people, they were young and old and whatever, different cultures and different ways. And a lot of us, nobody was talking. And it was basically like a telepathic conversation if there was going to be any connection with anybody. There was no speaking out. And so when we got there, when we got to surface, um, it was as if it looked kind of like California, and it was beautiful, pristine, beautiful, gorgeous. Everything was pristine. But the key thing here is there was no more humans. There were no humans that were there. And what was interesting is they said, you just need to go to the bus. You need to go to the bus. I think that was what somebody was saying, is that you just need to go to the bus. But I think it might have been that they were maybe transporting people to another place. Maybe not on Earth, right? But it might have gone to another place. And so that transport was like, but they called it like a bus. Go to the bus, right? Or go to the vehicle, right? As that's how they put it. But I wasn't able to see it, but that was the perception that was coming through from other kind of, maybe other kinds of senses of awareness, with that collective. There's a collective, a bunch of us came out from the inner Earth. So it was really interesting. And then what was funny is they had these little rickety things, because I think most of the humans there that were in that California, and it was beautiful. Everything, even the pearls, the pools, the pearls, the pools were pristine. Everything was pristine and beautiful, and it was just fabulous. But there was no humans. There was no people there. But there were still a few critters, a few little animals and things like that. And there was this little rickety thing that would be on the ground that those little beings could get on, and then they would take them away as well. So they were like, I'm not really sure how all that worked and everything, but even with my sense of awareness as I kind of jumped into that dream state as the Susie that came out from the inner earth, is that it was like kind of like going, I'm hungry. I think I'm hungry. But I'm guessing from some of that dream state that there was no need for eating. There was no need for eating down in that area. And I think it was more like, being able to access that beautiful breath of life, or that consciousness, and let that be the food of life, the prana of life. Maybe prana was all that there was. But I just kind of kept thinking, but I wasn't saying it out loud because there was no voice, there was no speaking in that place. But it was just kind of like, just kind of looking around, that we maybe go into some people's houses or everything, and it looked kind of perfect. It's like nothing was strange. It just looked like it was a perfect house. Everything was still beautiful and done, and there was no harm, there was no danger. There was you just could go in and to these beautiful places, and but the humans were gone. They were just completely gone. And there was no trauma around it because we didn't see anything. We just saw beautiful places, right? And we just experienced that. So, this is a unique conversation that I'm sharing today, but sometimes with that lucidity, and also with some of the ideal about the Akashic records, is that we have opportunities to kind of take a look at other ways of being a human and being here on planet Earth and experiencing so many strange, wonderful, and crazy. Sometimes it sounds so crazy, right? But that lucidity is a great place to play in, whether it be in awakened state or in dream state. Either one is perfect, because so many people right now are waking up to so many cool things, right? And so just sharing at this level is really awesome, just to let you know that it's possible, and maybe there's a kindred spirit with you, with some of your dream states or some of your lucid moments, right? And noticing that some of the beautiful, like, like I had Yeshua there, I had Archangel Jeremiah and Vishnu and Lakshmi sitting at a table. I was addressing, it's like I was going to, this event to see this presence. And as soon as I identified that person in the middle, it was, Yeshua or Jesus. I was like, all of a sudden it went blurry. So, but it's just so interesting when we look at things and we just like kind of go like, wow, it's so cool. Is it real? Is it not? Does it matter? No, but I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, even with the Akashic Records or the QHHT, does it really matter? As long as we can get some beautiful, beautiful insights for now. Anyway, so that's it for today. Wishing you a super duper awesome day. And whatever you're doing and creating, just notice what you're noticing and then notice it a little bit more. And namaste.